Tonight, top Democrats are sounding the alarm as President Trump refuses to commit to a peaceful transfer of power if he were to lose the election. Joining us now, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. Let me get your reaction to President Trump's refusal now to commit to a peaceful transfer of power should he lose the election. What did you make of those remarks?
I think they're exactly what they appear to be. That is the president telling the country that he will not accept the results of the election if he loses, that he will try to throw out some unknown number of ballots. And if he can't throw them out, he'll deem the election illegitimate and he won't go peacefully. He's making it abundantly clear. He's making it as clear as he can. No one should be surprised, therefore, that if we get through the election and the president loses, that we have a chaotic aftermath. This is what he is saying he's going to do. And I think it really calls on people of good conscience in both parties to speak out, including people who are in the administration who ought to resign over this, and former people in the administration ought to stop this stoic silence in the face of this assault on our democracy. If not now, and they wait until the chaos that follows, they will bear their share of the responsibility for what they're putting the country through.
Well, if that scenario you just laid out were to actually go into effect, if the president were to lose but refuse to leave, what, if anything, could you do about it?
Well, there's just no clear roadmap, Wolf. We're trying to obviously game out the different scenarios. If the president violates the law, violates his oath of office, and tries to cling to power. But we've never been through this before. We've never had a president say, I'm not leaving. The only election results I'll accept are those which show that I win, even if I lose. So we haven't been down this road before. And so, I'd like to say that there's a clear path where, there's this mechanism in the House or that mechanism in the Senate. But when you have one party that is so completely abdicated its responsibility, like the GOP, so made itself into a cult of personality around the president, it means that the future is very much in question if this election is close and contested. And maybe even if it isn't that close, depending on just what extreme lengths the president is willing to go to. So we have to do everything to avoid that in advance, which is, again, why it's so important for people of conscience to speak out. When the president did that blasphemous demonstration in front of the church, cleared peaceful protesters, had the chief of staff, military chief of staff, show up in fatigues, the defense secretary present, they were castigated by senior former military officials. We can't wait for that same thing to repeat after the election. People need to speak out now.
Despite the president's unfounded claims about the integrity of the election, the FBI Director Christopher Wray, testifying before Congress today, he said historically there has been no, in his words, no coordinated national voter fraud effort. Should that give Americans faith in the integrity of the process, whether or not you actually show up and vote at a polling station or whether you do it by mail?
I think it should give Americans confidence that there isn't going to be the kind of massive voter fraud that the president keeps talking about. Basically, FBI Director Wray is saying the president is full of baloney. There's no evidence of this. It would be very difficult to do. We're not seeing this. But I'll tell you what we are seeing, Wolf, and that is we are seeing the Russians amplify the president's false messages. So here there is a confluence of interest once again between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump wants to delegitimize the American election, and so does Vladimir Putin. So we're not seeing the kind of fraud the president is suggesting, but we are seeing the Russians push that whole idea out, something that Christopher Wray tried to put to rest, but is very hard when both the president and his Kremlin amplifiers are continuing to push this propaganda.
You actually just introduced a bill, I understand, in the House called the Protecting Our Democracy Act, aimed at curtailing potential abuses of presidential power. Tell us more about what this legislation would do.
It's a whole package of reforms that I worked on with any number of the other chairs and other members that address the abuses we have seen during the Trump era. So there are measures to strengthen the enforcement of the Hatch Act so that the president can't essentially dragoon federal employees into helping his campaign. There are measures to allow expedited enforcement of congressional subpoenas so a president can't stiff arm the Congress and say, we're not going to bother to testify. We're not going to provide any material for you to do your oversight responsibility. They're designed to curb abuses of the pardon power so the president can't pardon himself, can't pardon people who lie to Congress on his behalf, can't commute the sentences or make cases go away of people that lie on his behalf, that protect the independence of the Justice Department from an attorney general like Bill Barr, who would turn that department into a sword to go after the president's enemies or a shield to protect those that commit crimes on his behalf. And any number of other reforms. The challenge, Wolf, with this package is every time we got ready to introduce it, there would be more abuses to add to the list. But we're really trying to follow the example of the Congress after Watergate, respond to the abuses we've seen, and take corrective action so that we don't see those things happen again in the future.
All right, Congressman Adam Schiff of the Intelligence Committee, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf.